Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of the YouThought Sports Podcast. I am here with my usual wonderful co-hosts, Lucas, Aidan, Wyatt, and Jarod. Today, we've just got a episode for you full of discussion as we have some actual sports that have been happening. Let's just dive right in, kick things off with, there's been lots going on in the NBA bubble. Wyatt, let's start with you. What are your biggest takeaways from all of the happenings in the bubble so far?
Well, I think that there is a lot to unpack so far in the NBA bubble. I don't know if there's just one thing for me to take away, but I would say that the best way for me to sum it up so far is everything that I thought that would happen didn't. I think all my takes are wrong. I think it's crazy. I did not expect the Blazers to have really strong performances from the role players like Carmelo Anthony and Gary Trent Jr., who have been really big in big moments. I didn't expect guys like TJ Warren to just average 35 points a game and have the shooters just catch fire the way they do. Same with like Devin Booker. I didn't expect them to really have a strong chance out of the teams that I picked to make it for that 8th seed. I didn't expect Zion to be on a heavy minutes restriction after 4 months of rest, which I thought was crazy. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it really bodes the questions like, what are the Pelicans really thinking? Were they actually trying to make the playoffs? When are they finally going to take the training wheels off of a guy who is 20 years old now at this point, had 4 months of rest, and has an opportunity to make the playoffs in his first season? What else does he have to do to prove to them that he can play a full game? Because he actually hasn't played a full season, I think, since he was in high school, which is a little bit alarming for a guy like that. And then, of course, the heartbreaking collapse of the Grizzlies, who I picked to make it for that number 8 spot and hold that number 8 spot, who have not only one of the toughest schedules I think in that entire 8-game stretch, but they lost their number 2 guy to a knee injury. So it was a good season. I would say it's nothing to be disappointed in. It didn't really work out this year, but like I said, there's a lot to unpack for the bubble so far. We're not even done yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you say that about the Grizzlies as though they're just out.
Yeah, as of the time of recording, I think they're still the 8 seed technically.
They're a half game back from the 8 seed, and Portland has a hot hand right now. I don't expect – and I think that I remember that they have to play Boston and Toronto in some of these last games, so they're not really, in a good position to win. I think they might go 0-8, honestly.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. They haven't been great.
I mean, you mentioned the Blazers as being hot, but the Suns, I feel like, are more likely at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only a half game back from the Blazers, who are a half game back. So
Devin Booker's like the second coming of TJ Warren. Like, he's playing fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. After they make the TJ Warren Last Dance version, they'll make it.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, the Suns won again tonight. That makes them, I believe, 6-0.
Yeah, it's insane.
In the bubble. So, yeah, and their hardest game on the slate was versus the Clippers. They already won that one. The remaining games, I think, are Sixers and Mavs. So, sorry, Lucas, but the Sixers don't seem to be much of a threat at the moment. And so the Mavs might be tough, but I think the Suns came in with like a under 1% chance of making the play.
Wow.
Here they are, looking like a legitimate threat to at least be in that game.
Yeah, and I mean, whoever they end up playing, if they do sneak into the playoffs, probably the Lakers. Actually, absolutely the Lakers, because they'd only make it in as the 8th seed. The Lakers haven't been great either. They've been 2-4 in the bubble. I don't know what's happening, but things don't seem to be clicking on all cylinders for them. Them and the Clippers. The Clippers are 3-3 as well. So I don't know. I think with the whole bubble thing and the months off and certain teams getting hot, it almost feels like a new season. I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't be genuinely shocked if the Suns gave the Lakers a run for their money or even eked out a series win. I'm not going to book it or anything, but but the way that Booker's been playing and the way that I don't know, LeBron and Davis have sort of struggled to get it into gear, I think they'll be competitive at the very least if they can sneak in.
Yeah, I think that the Lakers should be worried in the sense that if it's the Blazers or Suns, whoever plays in the 8th seed, makes them play an unnecessarily long series, even a 6-game series, that's not going to be good. Some people have been pointing this out. The Warriors last year had to play 6 games against the Clippers in the first season. Next thing you know, KD goes down, Clay goes down. It could take – this time there's a 4-month rest, so who really knows about the injuries, but you never know. I think it is fair to put a lot of stock in what's happening in the bubble because it is kind of like a new season. They've had 4 months off, which is basically an off season. So, and some players have returned, some players haven't. So,
okay, but the thing is, I don't know. I think you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, though. I mean, I know for some weird reason the Lakers have been playing LeBron and AD like a good amount still, even though they've locked up the 1 seed. But I do feel like maybe they aren't actually playing all that hard anymore. Them and the Bucks, since they both have the 1 seeds locked up, and so like they've lost a few games, yeah. But I don't know if I'll be worried if they lose like Lucas said, if it goes like 6 games in the first round. Then I'll be worried, but I'm not convinced yet that there's actually anything to worry about.
But do you think that that with like the Lakers subtractions, I guess, that this is basically a Cavs team that LeBron's gonna have to try to carry, and he can't and won't be able to do?
No, because I think AD is better than any sort of side piece LeBron had in Cleveland.
Yeah, this was interesting to me. There was a guy on Twitter, like a really popular guy, who he made a poll, who is LeBron's best teammate ever? And AD got 51% of the votes, which surprised me quite a bit. I thought D-Wade would have gotten more. But so, yeah, I think as long as he's got Anthony Davis healthy, they're going to be contenders, yeah, regardless of the other pieces. I know they're super thin. That's something a little bit concerning, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Are they really that thin, though?
Players.
They really only lost Avery Bradley and Rondo.
Yeah,
which I know Avery Bradley is huge. He's a really big 3-and-D guy for them. But, I mean, to say that they've lost, like, all of this depth is – because Deion Waiters was on the team. The only actual person that they added was J.R. Smith, who has played beside LeBron James before. And then, I mean –
look how that turned out, though.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
He has a championship. He has a championship.
Yeah, in like 5 tries, but whatever.
I mean –
no,
you played J.R.
They
Smith.
weren't all that thick, if you will, to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, they're one of those.
Two C's.
Yeah, I mean, it worked the same way as when LeBron kind of goes anywhere, like a bunch of just veterans who are solid, but kind of past their prime join, and you're not totally confident if they can, keep it up, or if they're gonna. Yeah, so. I don't know. I'm not sold on the Lakers. It is very hard to tell at this point, though, whether we've seen a lot of the best teams in both conferences not look good so far. Like as you mentioned, Bart, the Bucks have not looked great. The Clippers have not looked good. Like it's hard to tell whether this is them not caring, not actually having these games matter, or if they're actually just not back in the swing of things / aren't gelling.
There have been flashes of I think a championship look team to the Bucks, especially when they came back against the Heat a few days back. I think that showed the potential they have, and also the Raptors too have been really impressive.
Yeah.
I think the East is going to be a lot more exciting than I thought it would be. I thought it would be the Bucks and maybe someone else could sneak in, maybe the Heat if they got hot. But honestly, with the Bucks at 1, the Raptors at 2, the Celtics at 3, and then the Heat or Pacers at 4 and 5, all 5 of those teams, I think, based on how they play in the bubble, have a legitimate shot of making the finals. Maybe the Pacers less so, but if TJ Warren looks like TJ Warren's looked, you never know what can happen.
Yeah. I don't know about TJ Warren because give a coach a full playoff series to actually figure out how to I don't know. Yeah. I think he's just he's gonna come back to the mean soon.
Yeah.
But, maybe not. Maybe he's actually the second coming of Michael Jordan this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy for the Pacers, just like I'm really happy for the Suns because they've been bad for so long. They deserve this. Their fans deserve this, Jarod.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Did I call out the Suns?
No.
Jarod, what are you gonna tell their kids?
Lucas, how are you feeling about the Sixers?
Awful.
Embiid's injury apparently isn't particularly a long-term thing.
I think he's day to day. I don't know. I think I'm tired of the whole process. I think it's just failed at this point. Even when both of them were playing, they looked so underwhelming. The losses they had, the underwhelming wins against the Spurs and against the Magic, and it's just they're barely scraping by beating lower seeded teams, and that doesn't give me any confidence for them going into the playoffs. I'd be shocked at this point with anything but a first round exit. Embiid has been playing very well. He had a 40-20 game even though they lost, but I just think that there's something rotten at the core of the team, and I think it might be Brett Brown. and like just they're not getting the best out of a very talented team, which is imbalanced in some ways. But yeah, I'm not confident about the Sixers at all at this point. I think the injuries have just made it far, far worse.
Do you think that with Embiid going down right now and Simmons going down for the end of this year, I guess, that Brett Brown will get another stint as the 76ers head coach, or you think he'll get a break, from the 76ers office and the fans?
I don't think from the fans.
Will
I
he
think
get one from you?
no. I think you have enough evidence at this point with this season that like he took a team that had Simmons and Embiid, who are two, I think, like close to generational talents, even if they're not a perfect match with each other. And then like even when the season ended, they were a 6th seed, even though there were injuries throughout the year. I think they've underperformed. I think last year they had such a good team that should have made it a finals run, and they lost in the conference semis. Like I think he doesn't get the best out of that team, and I don't think he deserves another year. I think I could see management giving it to him because it's so easy to chalk it up to, well, Simmons got hurt for the rest of the season, and Embiid was day-to-day at the end, and that hurt their chances. But I'm not feeling great about the Sixers' future at this point, unless they fire Brown, and even then.
Yeah, I don't feel great at all. And actually, I feel like I'm going to rip the 76ers to shred because Lucas and I, you and I went back and forth a little bit. I do not believe in anything the Sixers have done or are doing for the long term. I don't believe Brett Brown is probably the coach. I think he'll probably have another coaching job if he gets fired. But I think that they really need a change of culture. I think Embiid is everything that is wrong with the 76ers right now. I know Simmons got hurt, but Embiid does have also has a really, I guess you could say, long history of injuries in the past. And I think that I think it was a couple days ago where he was barking at Shake Milton, and then he did a dunk, and then he danced, and I think they still lost that game. I mean, I'm not impressed with the process. I no longer trust the process. I'm not impressed with the culture. And I think that if I were to pick a player to build around between one of the two, because you have to move one of them, they don't work well together. It'd have to be Embiid for me.
Agreed. I think it would have to be Embiid. I think
really you used to always be such an Embiid fan.
Oh no, I thought you said to build around.
No, to move on from. I would way much rather build around Ben Simmons.
I was letting my own biases just influence what came into my ears at that point.
You stopped listening. I lost him. I lost him halfway through that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. The culture there it just feels like so dysfunctional. Like there's no way a team that like built around that talent should be as bad as it is, and it is. And I think maybe you give it one more year with Embiid and Simmons with a new coach, and if it doesn't work then I think you just blow it up. But I don't know.
Yeah, agreed. I think they'd probably just be better off blowing it up now because,
I think they are better off blowing it up now. I don't think that they should even wait.
Consider,
I guess, I mean, how much longer are they going to be able to – I mean, they wait till these guys are in their 30s before they decide that it's not working anymore? I mean, I know that they're a lot farther off than that than they're closer to 20 than they are 30 now, I think, at this point. But they could be the best team in the East with the talent that they have on there. And they had a great find in Shake Milton, and they got Josh Richardson as a shooter. And I know that I've harped on I'm the biggest Jimmy Butler fan in the world. I think that they should have kept Jimmy Butler and not signed Tobias Harris. I don't believe in the moves that they're making, and they're going to have to make some moves. I mean, and if you're going to trade away Embiid, at least you have Al Horford as the next guy up, who was an all-star, I might add, to kind of play alongside Ben Simmons, who you want to play in the paint. He can shoot threes. Al Horford was an all-star.
Yeah.
No, I know. It's just
not anymore.
I think he's too old at this point to try and build.
No, you're not going to build around him, but you're building around Simmons, and he's a complementary piece to Simmons. I think he fits a lot better alongside Simmons, because I will say that Simmons doesn't get off easy with it's not like he's done everything right. I think his lack of development over the years is a little bit alarming. However, I would say being a strong wing and a wing defender and being a playmaker bodes well and better for the 76ers to build around than it would be for a guy like Embiid, who wants to be a three-point shooter, and he's over 7 feet tall.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I've never seen the flashes of dominance from Simmons that I have from Embiid. And while, like, in theory, it might be better to build around a player like Simmons, I think if you're talking about the team itself, I think Embiid has shown himself to be more of a dominant force than Simmons has ever been. And he's had, small bits where he's looked great, but I've never been as blown away with individual performances of Simmons as I have been with Embiid. And I know it's like looking at a sample versus a body of work, but I still think Embiid's whole body of work has been more impressive than Simmons at this point, even if, like, in theory, you want a player like Simmons on your team.
Not the personality. Not for me. Not at all.
There.
Jarod.
Anyway, go ahead, Wyatt.
Hold on. I want to ask Jarod a question.
Okay.
Do you like the Paul George and Damian Lillard beef, or is that also bad for the sport?
Dude, that's
As
fine.
much
It's
as you hate-
different.
as much as you
That's
hate
so
Damian,
much different.
You want
No,
them to
I
be
don't
choir
hate
boys
it.
and shake each
That
other's
is very
hands,
different.
Yeah, that's way
pat each
different.
other on the back.
They're not
Oh,
trying to
we'll
they're
get
not
to
trying
the
to
other.
hurt. They're not trying to physically hurt each other though. That's what was going on in the other game. Come on. This is good beef. But the Blazers, I mean, we can be just on, like, as a team, we can be on their high horse. Everybody's like, Damian's the best player in the bubble right now, like,
No.
he's good, but he's not the best player in the
Not
bubble.
TJ.
Also,
Yeah,
you're not
exactly.
TJ Warren.
It's obvious.
He did. I mean, Dame did drop 51, but the Blazers play everybody close. But they didn't beat the Clippers, who didn't have Kawhi Leonard that game. Barely beat the 76ers, who didn't have either of their stars for the second half. So, yeah, I don't really think the 8 seed is still pointless. I think. I think the Lakers are still going to beat whoever is put in front of them, but they might. Yeah, it might be a case where the Blazers stretch out the series. So we'll see, or whoever gets the 8 seed.
What I think is interesting, though, is that the Mavericks have been looking excellent. Mavericks-Clippers 2-7 would be such a fun first-round matchup.
That would
That would be fun.
I would be overjoyed if that's what we got. I don't know. I don't remember who the 6 seed is, who it might switch with, but yeah, that would be like a.
Rockets, I believe.
Rockets are 4 right now. I was going to comment on that, how
Oh, wow.
I was maybe a little bit right about that one, but who knows?
No, shut up. No, 4 through 7 at the moment is decided by a game.
Yeah, I mean,
Gotcha.
and it was that
Or-
this
yeah,
morning. It could have
one
changed.
was, but, yeah. So we'll see.
Do you guys want to make your picks for the finalists, the NBA awards finalists? I can list them off for you real quick.
I know it. Yeah.
No, I need to do more research on it.
Jared, this would be
I
easy.
know who the people
MVP. Do you want to pick MVP? At
Okay.
least, Jared. James
Sure.
Harden, LeBron James, or Giannis?
Giannis.
Correct answer. Ding, ding, ding.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Honestly, I'm surprised LeBron is even. Actually, both LeBron. Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
LeBron has a
well-
legitimate case to be the MVP this year. I really do. I think that with as well the Lakers are playing before the season shut down would warrant an MVP. I do think that is Giannis because he plays like 30 minutes a game and they're still blowing out teams, but I would say that
Okay.
that they're doing well. Jerry, do you want to pick Rookie of the Year too? Well, I got you.
Ja.
I think that's the obvious answer too for John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Zion should be even second.
No, agreed.
He's
Yeah.
played less than
Did
a
someone
third
say
of the
Michael
season.
Porter?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't think Zion
Bubble
should get it, but I think
stars.
Michael Porter should. Yeah. Yeah, they should have a whole separate
my
award,
gosh.
section for just the bubble.
Yeah.
Comeback player of the bubble.
For the 8 games.
Of the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Those are the only
Wyatt,
ones
who
I
are your
think.
picks?
Oh, I'm picking Giannis for the MVP. I'm gonna pick John Morant for the Rookie of the Year. I don't understand how Luka is in the Most Improved Player because he was also in the MVP conversation. I don't know. Like I know
He
he's
got
good.
that much better. What?
Yeah, did he?
Come on.
I know he's good. I think that there are plenty of other players. I thought the Most Improved Player wasn't for players of Luka's caliber. Not to kind of diss on everyone else, but I think it's more of up and coming stars, and I think Luka's already a star in the league.
It's for
So it's kind
trash
of unfair to
players who
put
are
him-
a little less trash than your
Right.
second.
It's for the
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
you're not as trash as I thought.
But like, what is he? He's putting up like 29, 9, and 9 this year. Right? It's like he got like a lot better.
But did anybody not expect that from Luka?
Yeah, that's
because they were already
That
talking
was
about
kind of
him
his
being a
projected
star.
arc. Yeah.
Yeah. I think isn't most improved player a player you're like he kind of came onto the scene this year and you're like, wow, he looks really good. I did not expect that. If Luka won an MVP in the next 2 years, the next 2 years, I wouldn't be shocked about that either. So, and I'm not going to go through all of the awards, but I think that Nick Nurse deserves Coach of the Year. He's a good coach. I like Nick.
I don't know. Looking, not to belabor this too much, but I'm going to. Like the guys that have won in the past, most improved player, like Jimmy Butler, Giannis, like guys who I think were projected. Paul George, Kevin Love, like guys who you came in with some level of expectation with, even if it wasn't the highest. And Luka probably had higher levels of expectation than all those guys, but it's not always like scrubs that win it.
They're talking about Luka being the best 20-year-old in NBA history. I mean, he was already like projected to be the biggest superstar in the game. I think it's different. Kevin Love.
But by the definition of the award, I think Lucas is right that it should just be about who improves most from 1 year to the next.
I just want someone with a similar name to me to win the award. That's all.
When I did that NBA name analysis, there was no Lucas in the NBA. I'm pretty sure. So you just have Luka. The best you can
do. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, well, there's a reason we're not in the media voting on this.
Yeah, where's my vote?